Hello, it's Cameraman Nick, and look who I'm with. Elite Series Pro, Greg DiPalma. This is exciting stuff. He's getting ready for the 2022 Elite Series. It's going to be an awesome time. But we want to get to know Greg a little bit more. For you, the fans, so we got question and answer. What do you think, Greg?
I don't know. You're going to trick me, aren't you?
We're going to find out. So here we go.
Let's see.
So first question, Greg, and some of these are from people that asked, about you a little bit.
Yeah.
So how many years have you been a pro on the Bassmasters Elite Series?
So the Elite Series, this is going into my 4th season as a pro.
Right.
Yep.
4 years on the pro circuit. And, how has it been so far?
It's been really good. I mean, I've learned, in the last 4 years, I've learned more than I can say that I have learned since 2006 when I first started fishing the Opens. I know that sounds crazy, but man, at this level, you are forced to do good. You're forced to learn. You're forced to figure it out on the spot quick and do the best you can.
Right. Changing conditions all the time.
Yep.
And we're here in South Jersey today.
We are.
On a lake, and I got to see his decision making up close and personal. And it was awesome. We got some video out there for it. And he caught him. Awesome. Next,
we both caught him. No lie.
We both caught him, but somebody
I was in the front.
caught the big ones.
I had better casting angles than he had.
That's
today,
all right.
So we had some.
It's all
really
good stuff.
Yeah.
So, next question. What is the biggest obstacle in fishing various regions of the country?
Biggest obstacle? That's a really, really good question. So I would say for the most part, the biggest obstacle is there is certain little niches around the country that seem to work. It's really hard to try to figure them out because most of the guys that are doing them don't share it on YouTube. They don't share it on social media. So to try to put it together and figure it out, like a southern fish is a lot different than a northern fish, just the way they act, the way they move. Mm-hmm. The fish down there move a lot slower because it doesn't get cold as fast. Versus up here, they might transition a lot faster.
Right.
So there's always like a learning curve that direction. That's probably the biggest obstacle for me.
Right. And something that Greg and I talked about today on the water is every lake seems to have its own little secrets. Yeah. And it's hard to find that out.
It is. It's real hard.
Trial and error.
Yep. It just takes time. I mean, the guys you see that have been on tour for 10, 15 years, the reason they're so good is because they start seeing them scenarios where they know what to do.
Right.
Over and over, and they know what to change to, they know where to go, how to do it. So a lot of it's, relative. A lot of you guys probably fish at home, fish a certain body of water, and, after 10 years or 15 years of being on that body of water, you're really good because you've seen all the scenarios.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing around the country. It just takes time to build up on top of all that.
So what you're saying basically is nothing replaces time on the water.
Zero.
There you go, everybody.
Zero. Time
Time on the water
is key.
So you travel a lot.
Yep.
All right. Does any gas station in the country compare to Wawa?
No, there's no comparison to Wawa. You are a king if you are watching.
Right,
Period.
Right. He loves his Wawa.
Yeah, I do.
He's got his Wawa. Now, the question a lot of anglers, we got tournament anglers, they're fishing more than ever.
Yep.
Okay. How do you prepare for an event?
So, especially if we're going somewhere new, I do a lot of research. YouTube is probably one of the best.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Google search is number 2. Besides that, it's just actually physically going there before the cutoff, which is 28 days prior, and just kind of getting yourself familiar with the body of water, the layout.
Right.
But besides that, man, electronics nowadays are so good. I do a lot of graphing.
Mm-hmm.
Tons of it.
And that's key.
It is.
It really is.
We're still in the era where a lot of people are buying the big screens, buying all this good components for their boats, but at the end of the day, a lot of guys still are not using them properly.
Not utilizing it to its,
Yeah, they're so good. Humminbird Lake Master is incredible for mapping in the lakes. It speeds your practice up tremendously if you know what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can figure out something when you actually go there and apply it and look at the map and reapply it somewhere else, dude, it simplifies a lot of things.
Yeah, and what he just said is so key. I know from knowing Greg for a while, you love your Humminbirds and your Lake Master maps.
Big time.
Outside of fishing, what are some hobbies you like or enjoy?
Mainly fishing, but so when I'm home, I try to fish almost every day if I can, which is pretty crazy, but I do like riding mountain bikes. I do like messing around with little John boats and tinkering with things and building things, taking motors apart. I do like that kind of stuff.
And you do like to bowl, right?
I used to. I haven't bowled like I used to. I used to bowl like how I fish is how I used to bowl. Like the 1 year, I bowled for literally every day for 1 year. I never missed a day. Well, actually, I missed Christmas. That was the only day I missed. But I bowled every day.
Right. Yeah. That's awesome. Another thing is, what would you say your strength is as an angler?
You know, I would still say power fishing, you know, flipping jigs, throwing buzz baits. They're probably my top two.
Mm-hmm.
I can say that I have evolved over the years to be able to do almost everything out there technique-wise. But them two are my
Right,
strength.
right.
Yep.
Now, one thing that Greg and I were talking about today is Greg has had a great career so far, and one of the reasons for that is because he's had a very loyal sponsor group,
Yep.
and he's been very loyal to them. You've had them since your career started, your Elite Series career. And what do those relationships mean to you?
I mean, without them personally, I could not do it.
Right.
I mean, for me, they're everything. I mean, you know, Susquehanna has been there for me literally since the beginning. And Mike and George personally they were kind of mentors in the beginning for me because I was green. I didn't have a clue what I was doing. They really got me onto the business side a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They brought me into the industry. I met a lot of people through Mike and George, so very fortunate that way. You know, I started out doing the shows, which are kind of not a thing right now. They'll come back eventually. But the show season for me was a good stepping stone because I learned a ton, but I learned how the industry actually went around, how it worked.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's all good stuff. You know, it's really good stuff. What is it like living on the road during these Elite Series?
It's it kind of sucks sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, to be honest. But I wouldn't change a thing about it as far as you know what I do. To make it easier, you know, I got a core of guys that I do travel with a lot,
Mm-hmm.
so it makes it a lot easier. A lot of the guys, including myself, will bring. I got my fiance, but you know they have their wives, so they
Right.
cook for us. So it just makes one less step that we can do. Always makes it a lot easier. So if I
Mhm.
travel with guys, you know, we all work together. It just makes it work a lot easier.
Seems like it, you know, following you and following your social media and things like that, you really see that it kind of, you feel at home. You almost look like these guys feel at home
Yeah,
when
we
you get
do.
back.
And we
you
do.
know.
Yep.
That's really, really important stuff. Now, again, we're talking about a lot of anglers. You've been fishing the opens too,
I have.
okay? And you're seeing more and more people get into the opens and the BFLs and everything else out there.
Yep.
What would you tell an angler that aspires to be an elite like yourself? You know, what are maybe a step to take or maybe something to think about, and anything that you need to have in mind?
Yeah, man, I can easily say the game nowadays has changed to where, and I don't want to be negative by saying this, but a lot of guys nowadays are taking a lot of shortcuts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're getting information, they're networking with guys that somehow that live there. And for me growing up, I never took that route. It was always just get your butt on the lake and work. And regardless of if you got small lakes that we have here in South Jersey or you're on a big body of water, it's all relative. It's all the same. It's all bass fishing. So if you could
Right.
just put in the time. So when I worked full time, I did construction for 18 years. When I did construction, I worked, you know, 7 to 3 most days. But from 4 to dark, I was in the water every single day. I swear I never missed a day.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what kind of got me to who I am today as an angler. It was just putting in the work.
Right.
That seems to be the biggest missed stepping stone nowadays is putting in the work.
Yeah, and for anybody that's watching this, and this is the first time you're seeing Greg, one of the things that's so great about Greg, and if you follow his career, I mean, I know every professional angler works hard.
They do.
Okay,
Very hard.
can't take away from nobody, but Greg is fully committed. He is, you know, working hard every day at every part of it. You know, like you said, you're doing the research, you're doing the map studies, and you're putting the work in,
Yep.
learning all these different techniques. And what a lot of people don't know is you also do a lot of testing on, you know, all your equipment
I do.
to make sure it's up to par.
Yep.
So that's pretty good stuff.
Yep.
Now, my last question for you, you know, before we wrap this up is, what are your goals for 2022, and how do these lakes set up for you?
Yeah, you know, there's a few different lakes on the schedule this year. Every year so far in the elites, I would say if we have 9 tournaments, which we do have, you know, I might have been the 2 or 3 on the whole schedule every single year so far. So it's always new bodies of water, which I love, don't get me wrong. It's still all learning as I go. But the biggest thing is, you know, I work really hard at this. So to push myself any further is actually hard to do. I do have an idea this year that I'm going to try to do that I'm not going to release yet. I'm always boiling in my head. You know, Nick always says, like, he always respects that I'm always doing something different than everybody else.
Always.
I have something I'm going to do this winter, and it includes a lot of map study, what I'm going to do. But it's going to be a different way that I'm going to go about it this year.
Right.
Just to try to narrow it down. It's something that I actually do here in South Jersey that I did for a long time, and it seemed to work really good.
Right.
So I'm going to try that route. But, man, just work hard, you know, get up and travel some more, put more miles in the truck, and keep on going to these places.
And, you know, for the Elite Series, you know, one of the things is to make the cuts, obviously. What where you have to be in points to make the Classic?
So the Classic every year, basically, when it starts out, 39th in the points is the last spot that comes in. But there's always a lot of double qualifiers through the whole season. So it always ends up being around 42, 43 guys through the Elite Series.
And that's a very important thing to Greg to try to accomplish. Yeah. And so this is the first video of the year that we're going to do. Yeah. We're going to do a lot more. And we're going to follow Greg's journey in the Elite Series. He's going to be fishing some opens. And we're going to see him accomplish his goals. And I hope you look forward to it. I know you do, Greg.
I do.
And I do. Let's see how it rolls. It's Greg DiPalma.
Yeah, thanks for watching, guys. And if you can follow along this entire year, that'd be cool. Like I said, Nick's doing a hell of a job here. You know, we're pushing a lot of the stuff through SFT. And if you guys can, you know, you're watching this, Mike and George, if you guys got any questions, call them at the shop because they know pretty much everything I do. Otherwise, we'll see you on the next one, right?
Plenty more coming up. Stay tuned.
Good.
Yep.